This is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders. '60s in the AFL and then in the NFL in the early '70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
1st and 10, it's Favre. And this throw will be intercepted. Picked off by the 13-time Pro Bowler Ray Lewis. And he's going to get this one back to the 20-yard line. Wow, just one snap in, partner, and the complexion of this game has already changed because for the defensive side, they just handed their offense a short field and a big early advantage. And even though it's only the first snap of the game, we're going to look back on this one and see if it has lasting effects as this game moves on. So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD. .759, the best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in the conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came on late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36, 16, and 2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
To throw again on 2nd down. Brady. And that is caught for an AFC touchdown. Tony Gonzalez from 13 yards out. And the AFC has taken the early lead.
Well, the lost sleep that the defensive coordinator had all week preparing for this game, a good portion of it was trying to prepare for him because he's absolutely a phenomenal player.
And a lot of times around the goal line, they know it's going to him. It's just so hard to stop.
And that's what really becomes difficult because you're exactly right. They know it's going to him, yet they still can't stop it. That tells you when you're a dynamic player.
And there's been a Terry now to kick it away after the touchdown. Take it in at the 3. And And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17. The NFC offense coming out here. And you know, Charles, Coach Madden always said that if he had one drive to win a game and he had to pick a quarterback, he would pick Kenny Stabler. But I think if you asked him to omit any of his Raiders players, there's a good chance the guy he'd select would be Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is always smiling. He's always laughing. He's always talking to someone. He remembers that it's a game. And if it's a game, you should have fun.
And Brandon, that always reminds me of a great movie line where one of the players was telling the coach, every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. And every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. With Coach, it is always a game.
And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And, you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over in Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. He played his high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon, and later Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Played well enough that in 1958, he was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft had 30 rounds then.
But Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st round draft pick back in 1958. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp. Actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL. But it was still during his time with the Eagles, you and I were talking about this before going on air, that you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film with the Eagles with quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Van Brocklin coached with the Falcons, he coached with the Vikings. And it was there during that time, I think Coach Madden realized his love of football and love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football coach. So in 1960, began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock, and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach, the guy who could throw it around pretty well, Don Coryell.
So they take a big chance here in their own territory, and you think the coach may have some questions to answer?
Yeah, and, you know, normally we focus on the media, right? The social media barrage that he's going to get for this one. How about on his own sideline and in his locker room? Because I think the team's going to look at him like, Coach, why would we go for it there? I mean, no confidence in the defense. You don't like the punter. I mean, what's going on here? You owe us some explanations.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Brady now to throw. And that'll be incomplete.
Charles, you know, it was in the early 1960s that a young John Madden made the acquaintance of the owner of the Oakland Raiders, one Al Davis, of course, and the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in NFL history. And to take it a step further, Al Davis became someone who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, 1967, Brandon, Al Davis hired Coach Madden to be a linebackers coach. Remember, this was still the AFL at that point. We had not merged totally with the NFL. And Coach Madden, he paid dividends almost immediately. Helped the Raiders win the AFL title in 1968. And that meant a date for the Green Bay Packers in what was now known as Super Bowl II. But by 1969, at the age of 32, just 32, Brandon, John Madden assumed the mantle of head coach of the Oakland Raiders. And what a ride he, the Raiders, and the NFL were about to go on.
On is the Hall of Famer Ray Guy to punt this away on 4th down. On the return, Hester. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the NFC will take over deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. The NFC heading back out. Hall of Famer Randy Moss, a part of this offense.
And Coach Madden, boy, he always appreciated the ferociousness with which number 84 attacked the football in the air.
As Randy Moss says, just chunk it up there, dog, and I'll go get it.
And, Coach, boy, did he ever go get it. Over 15,000 receiving yards, 156 touchdowns. And how about this? From his rookie year of 1998 until 2009, those were his prime seasons, right? He led the league in touchdowns 5 times, but even more so, he showed us all how to go up and get it. Great body control. No one's ever done it better playing the ball in the air.
Charles, you talked about John Madden and the Raiders going on a ride. Well, try these numbers on for size. In 10 seasons as a head coach, the Raiders won their division 7 times. They finished second the other 3 times, and he became the youngest coach to amass 100 career regular season victories and is still, to this day, the franchise leader in wins.
I mean, to think about it, that's where that rivalry with Kansas City really took root. As did the expression, commitment to excellence. And boy, was it personified by the players who played for Coach Madden. On offense, how about quarterback Kenny Stabler, wide receiver Cliff Branch, wide receiver Fred Biletnikoff, tight end Dave Casper, to name a few. How about those great linemen he had? Center Jim Otto, guard Gene Upshaw, tackle Art Shell, all of them in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And guys on the defensive side of the ball, the Mad Stork himself, Ted Hendricks, Willie Brown, John Matuzak, Otis Sisko, and Big Ben Davidson. So many great players, so many great memories.
Well, he was really focused downfield, but there was really no viable options. The coverage was too good.
And the defense really quickened the tempo of that play with their pass rush because there was nowhere for him to go with the football. The only place he ended up, down on the ground.
They go for it on 4th and goal, but then lines up incomplete. So certainly an interesting call there to go for it. And now, boy, the ball's going to go over on downs here inside the 10-yard line. So with their backs practically backed up against the goal line, just why? Why did they do that?
I'm taking it from the other perspective because I have zero answer about why. How about if you're on defense and you realize they're going for it in this situation? That's just blatant disrespect for the team. And you're almost incredulous. You're like, what are they planning on doing here? What kind of crazy play should we expect to see? But there's no way they should pick that up here, and they didn't.
And now incredible field position. Now this is a nice little gift wrap situation as they take over 1st and goal. Now a carry for Allen. And he gets him a little bit closer. He takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4. 2nd and goal from inside the 5. Now Brady. And that is caught for an AFC touchdown. Andre Reed from 4 yards out. And the AFC is in for 6. So remember now, this was all set up by the stop defensively on 4th down. That's what got him this great field position. And then 2 plays later, they're already in the end zone.
Yeah, partner, funny how it works like that, huh? That's a momentum swing amusement park style. The defense comes off the field, bouncing, grooving, they're firing up, and it carries over to the other side of the ball.
Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts.
Time to decide your Madden NFL 23 debut. Become coach once again and captain a team of legends and stars to victory in the John Madden Legacy game. Feeling a little rusty on them sticks? Hit the practice field to head on over to the main menu and see the full array of options you've got to work with at Madden NFL 23.
That's how you know we're lit.
Trust, me taking no loss. We be the hottest on the scene. Gemstones from the dust. Big dog to leash. Where's the love in the streets? Pour my heart on the beat. See that blood on my sheets. Yeah, when me ready, me hit it heavy. I zoom on the pride of my people already. Them I see Ellie. Me, I'm just sharing my journey. I'm thankful that people they hear me. Trouble Joseph, I'm ahead of the bunch. P5, I was starving for months. A running cut team, but on my pockets, me need my DNA. Baby falling.
Entering settings screen, you have 20 options. Menu narration option is set to office selected.
Me and them know that the same. Or I don't know the name is. They say I move like I'm nameless. Cause I only come for the money bags and I don't really wanna be famous.
We going crazy, we at the top and we never gonna stop. Hop in a ghost, I'ma get swayzy. I just got off with a jet and I cry. I win in a Humvee, I lie. I be on go cause I come from the shot. I'm shooting back, I ain't ducking no shots. Got power like Samson, I cut off the locks. Shabak, Tema, in the cut like I'm Fredo Santana. Bushu Banton, I hop in the Bama, the world is mine. I'm Tony Montana, I'm Pelican Fly. Diamonds on me cause I'm rapping a rock. I'ma go hard, I ain't killing them soft. I'm up in the hills, I feel like I'm Lauren, you ready or not? I like who got businesses, I'm CEO of mine. 1980 Prezi Rolly, we been working overtime. The witness, the police, the pigs, I don't eat swine. Son of Jacob, this biblical, my flow, the holy God. Save money ground up in the gutter where they found us. Stones in the faint mouth rush, more vacate.
It up, touchdown, I'm snapping. In the field with the play, j.Madden. It's a many given Sunday magic. Light skin, prime time action. Run it up, touchdown, I'm snapping. In the field with the play, j.Madden. It's a many given Sunday magic. Round of applause and you go, that's it. Damn, that's a bomb with a flick of my